Hi, thanks for joining us today to learn how to turbocharge your business workflow processes. In this webinar, we will demonstrate the importance of your company developing and documenting standard operating procedures and creating effective workflow processes. We are going to teach you a 5-part project delivery system that we utilize to improve your company's business processes. If you are interested in more information and to obtain free downloads for developing your workflow processes, please call us or visit our website. Let us jump right in. Studies show that standardizing your procedures will increase employee productivity by over 20% and significantly reduce project delays and errors in the execution of your work. Recovering this 20% lost productivity is equal to gaining back 2 hours of employee lost time every day. Based on these studies, it is obvious that having standard and effective business processes makes sense. Once these standard processes are established, it is important that you verify that they are being followed. Standard operating procedures do not do any good if they sit on a shelf and they are not being utilized. William Thomas was a famous scientist that stated, "What gets measured gets managed." Successful corporations use this principle to improve their business processes by measuring their existing systems and continually improving upon them. This results in reduced cost and provides consistent, superior services to your clients. What happens when a team does not perform effectively? Everyone in their career has probably been on a project that went badly. Schedules get delayed, clients get frustrated, errors occur, and the cost of performing the work increases. These projects are 2 examples that highlight the cost of poor project execution. These schedule delays and added costs could have been mitigated if these projects had developed and utilized effective workflow processes. The Berlin Airport opened in 2020, 8 years late and $6 billion over budget. The Apple headquarters opened 2 years late and $2 billion over budget. The graph I am showing you represents the labor productivity growth by industry over the last 20 years. The construction labor productivity is represented in orange. It is at the bottom of the graph. Overall economic growth is in gray, and manufacturing labor productivity increases are shown in blue. The McKinsey Global Institute concluded that the construction industry has the lowest productivity gains of any industry and has shown very little improvement in productivity since 1920. Manufacturing exceeds all other industries in productivity growth due to the utilization of automated systems and establishing what is referred to as copy-exact workflow processes. The design and construction industries have struggled with increasing productivity for over 50 years. Poor project execution is directly related to the 20% loss of employee productivity we talked about previously. Based on the average employee's salary, your company could save over $20,000 every year per employee by creating standard and effective processes. Standardized and effective processes will allow your company to execute work more consistently, efficiently, and turn over projects on time. So how do we fix this? At the beginning of the presentation, I discussed the importance of your company creating and documenting effective processes and procedures. Let us go over the 5 parts to our project delivery system that will optimize all your business processes. The 5-part system starts by establishing your company's existing procedures by interviewing all your team members and analyzing ways to remove redundancies and improve efficiencies in your processes. In the first part, we will map out all your existing processes and procedures into individual steps. Mapping out your processes into workflow diagrams is only the beginning of our system. Workflow diagrams by themselves do not show you the whole picture. These diagrams show you the order in which a process is performed, but they do not show you key elements such as what is the duration of each step, who is the decision maker, what documents are required, what is the overall duration for the entire process, are there any rules and approval authority requirements. To optimize your business processes, these questions need to be addressed and a consistent process documented. In the next 3 parts of the project delivery system, we will define the decision makers for each step in the process. We will assign logic, rules, and durations to each step, and establish and attach handoff requirements, templates, and forms to each of these steps. In addition, we will include detailed instructions for every step in the process. No more searching through 600 pages of the company procedure manual when all you want to do is complete a single step in the process. Let us look at an actual case study. After only the first 4 parts of our system had been completed. This case study started in January of 2016, when we were hired to work for a large Fortune 500 confidential client to optimize their national construction program. To create a baseline, we measured the client's current construction program to establish existing key performance indicators. What we discovered is that only 18% of their projects were completed on time, within budget. We also discovered that the client's project change order costs were in excess of 15%. To correct this poor performance, we utilized our process improvement program, starting with documenting their current operating procedures and mapping out their existing workflow processes. We then took these standard procedures and developed effective, repeatable business workflows for all aspects of their unique construction process, from pre-construction and design through procurement, construction, and closeout. By interviewing their staff, we found that each of their project managers performed over 120 specific repeatable steps on every project. We then continued with our business optimization system by defining, assigning, and attaching all the requirements for each step in every process. Fast forwarding 3 years and 3,000 projects later, our efforts to optimize the client's business processes successfully resulted in the on-time, on-budget performance rating, increasing from 18% to over 88%. In addition, by running projects more efficiently, change order costs were reduced from 15% to under 3%. These were significant improvements in their company's key performance indicators, just by performing the first 4 parts of our project delivery system. At this point, we wanted to see how we could take this amazing performance to the next level and optimize it even further. We determined that, like the manufacturing and high-tech industries, we needed a way to automate the business processes. To do this, we partnered with a software developer to create a platform that allows us to take these standard operating procedures and effective business processes to a new level. The platform will convert written processes and static workflow diagrams into actionable, automated workflows. The software will electronically update the team on the status of every project in real time and provides a tool to measure project and employee performance against pre-established baselines. To demonstrate the platform, we are going to look at 2 real-world case studies where we have applied the software. In the first case study, our client had an existing 600-page standard procedure manual with over 50 individual workflow diagrams. The problem was that these standards were sitting on a shelf and were not being consistently followed. Revisions made to the processes were not effectively rolled out to the company, and procedures were not updated or improved upon. The manual in its current format was too overwhelming to utilize as an effective business tool. There was so much information that had to be searched through that the employees felt, as they stated, they were being fed water from a fire hydrant. In the second case study, the company had a completely different problem. They had no consistent standard processes and no established workflows. Every architect that we interviewed had created their own processes and procedures, and none of these matched the client's requirements. These are two very different case studies, but using our process optimization system and software platform, we were able to correct both uniquely different problems. If you remember, prior to the fifth part of our system, we have completed the first four parts in optimizing the company's business operations by documenting the business's standard procedures, mapping out their workflow processes, and then defining, assigning, and attaching all the documents required to complete each task. With this information established, the task of automating the workflow process becomes quite easy. To best demonstrate Part 5 of our program, Automating the Process, we are going to use these two case studies to show you how our software platform corrected both companies' issues by creating online dynamic procedures and automated workflow processes. Starting with the first example from one of our case studies. This is a completed written standard operating procedure. This is only one procedure that is 5 pages long, extracted from the 600-page manual. You are looking at an example of a procurement process. It has all the basic elements of a typical operating procedure. It shows you an overview of the procedure. They have included a process diagram as well as defining process rules, and it has links attached to required forms. It even further defines approval authority limits. This is a comprehensive standard procedure document, but navigating the process is cumbersome and requires a lot of time to search for and find the information you need. Looking back at the process flow diagram, you can see where it starts and ends, but does it show me the overall duration of each step? Can I tell what step I am on at any time? How do you manage and track the procedures when you have hundreds or thousands of these procurement processes going on concurrently on multiple projects? And this is just one of 50 workflows that this company had in their procedure manual. It becomes more obvious why these standards are not being used or consistently followed. Let us demonstrate how we can take this process flow document and convert the written processes into diagrams and actionable automated workflows. To start, I'm going to take the entire existing Word document and copy it. I then will launch our workflow platform. From here, we are going to create a new document by simply pasting the operating procedure we just copied directly into our platform. This process has transformed all the information diagrams and form links directly into the software. To demonstrate this process, we're going to create what we refer to as a blueprint, and this is going to be a document, not a procedure. We will give it a name, and then hit the Create Document button. I now have a blank document that looks like a Word document, but it is actually a dynamic procedure that we are starting to establish. I will hit Paste and keep the current format. The new dynamic document looks very similar because it is very similar. But the original static written document has been transformed into a dynamic document inside the platform itself. We have copied over everything from the original, including the same fonts, the workflow diagram, the list of definitions and rules, and even the original form links in the document were automatically transferred onto the platform. It makes the process relatively simple. Looking back to the workflow process diagram, what we want to do now is create a fully automated system, a process we can track in real time, measure performance, and analyze schedule compliance. A platform that tells me what step I am on in every process and who oversees the current task. I want to know what documents are required for each step and the established durations for on-time completion. The platform provides this information in real time without the need to search through 600 pages of documents or review endless Excel spreadsheets. All the information is in one place. For purposes of time management, I'm going to show you what the completed automated workflow looks like. If you are interested later, we can go over how we build these for your company. To start, I'm going to go to my project library, where all our blueprints are kept. You can see that the document we just created called Procure has now shown up. What we are going to do now is show you how we took all the information from the standard operating procedures and process diagrams and built it into an automated workflow. Let us go ahead and open this process. What we are looking at is the automated workflow we put together. This is a very basic workflow. There are 11 steps in the total process. The process starts with creating a requisition and walks you through the different types of approvals, goes through awarding a purchase order, and then final approval status. Nice thing is we have now established durations for every step. The client wanted the total procurement process to take no longer than 18 days from when the requisition was first created. Let us investigate the individual steps in more detail. If we open up one of these steps, this is the first step, we can review all the information contained in this single step in the process. We have assigned oversight of this step to an administrator. The administrator will be responsible for creating the requisition. From the standard procedures, we have attached all the instructions that are required for the step. It shows you any forms that are required for each of the steps. And then let us look at deadlines. The admin has 3 days after a process is launched to complete this task. Let us look at something to do with rules and authority limits. If your purchases are over $100,000, let us see what happens. In this case, if an approval is more than $100,000, it requires a VP to approve it. This is an example of authority limits. We have attached all the forms that are required for this step, and any related documents created previously are automatically transferred over so that the Vice President can review it for approval or rejection. Here we provided a button for approval and rejection. In addition, we provided the Vice President with a deadline for completion of this task. In this example, he has 7 days after the requisition was created to complete the task. We have established process logic and rules. If the procurement amount was more than $100,000, it would go to the Vice President. Let's just quickly look and see what happens if the purchase is between $25,000 and $100,000. For purchases between $25,000 and $100,000, the department head has approval authority. The department head's deadline, since it is a smaller purchase, was reduced to 5 days to complete. Everything required to complete each task is attached. No more searching through an entire document to find the information you need. Each one of these steps has descriptions. In this example, we have provided a link to a training tutorial. Let me show you some examples from the second case that we talked about. This will be an example of a more complex workflow. Going back to my library. We will go ahead and open this workflow. In this case study, one of the client's key pain points centered around when and how a 90% design approval occurred. This more complex workflow process has over 60 steps. We can demonstrate how the power of an automated workflow process eliminated the problem with the 90% design approval. Scrolling down to step 47, client acceptance of 90% design. A few things to understand is that one major problem the client had with the designer was the architect bypassing 90% client approval of the plans prior to going to permitting. For the project permitting, they wanted IFC plans and specifications ready in 12 weeks. So we established that as our total duration to complete that and all previous steps. In interviewing the designers, they all had different durations and delivery formats for the permit process. The client's requirement was a specific process in a specific format completed within 12 weeks. For that to occur, the client needed to accept the 90% design drawings in 11 weeks. Not only did the client want to review the 90% design, but additionally had requested 8 specific documents to be delivered, along with the 90% design. Opening this step, the client has been assigned oversight of this task in coordination with the project manager. There is an Approve, Reject button for this step. The client in this example has a quick turnaround of 1 day to complete this review. Looking at the rules in this step, there are 8 separate rules attached. The designer is required to have completed a 90% design review, provide documentation of code compliance, attach a schedule and project budget, etc. 8 separate documents attached to the specifications and drawings. The nice thing about an automated system is that you cannot bypass this step. You cannot go to permitting if the client has not received and approved all 8 documents. The process cannot be completed until all these requirements are met. Once the client approves this step, it automatically kicks off the next step, which goes to the architect, and provides email notification to all parties that the step is completed. All steps are tracked and schedule compliance measured. One other thing that I want to demonstrate about our system: the project tracker. This is one of the many tracking dashboards that can be utilized. Let us say you are a vice president and all you want to track is overall project status. What projects are late? What projects are on time? What projects are completed? You want to focus on the big picture. You can drill down and open any of these different projects and processes and see what is going on with each one of them. But if you just want a quick project overview, the project tracker shows project status, what step each project is on, who is in charge, what steps and projects are delayed, etc. The software allows you to create and track key performance indicators. You can view your projects in different formats and even export into business intelligence tools. These are very useful for corporate executives who just want oversight of all the projects under his jurisdiction. If you're a project manager, you're probably more interested in what your individual specific tasks are. For this, let us open the Tasks tab. When I open the Tasks tab, it shows that I have 24 tasks. For example, this task is due in 3 hours. This task is 12 days overdue. This task is 20 hours overdue. I can open and drill down into any of these tasks to get more information and detail. It provides all the information I need in one glance. In conclusion, our 5-part program delivers consistent quality, reduces errors, maintains schedules, and eliminates redundancies. It recovers lost time and improves employee productivity. It holds employees accountable for meeting deadlines and addresses and corrects key problems in our industries. It provides dashboards and the ability to track all your projects and evaluate key performance indicators in real time. To find out more about our services and how Project Delivery System can help you optimize all your business processes, please contact us at 310-593-8445 or email us at support@projectdeliverysystem.com. Thanks for taking the time, and we hope this is helpful to your business in developing effective standard operating procedures and workflow processes.